England fans are being way too harsh with Arsenal defender Ben White following his request not to be considered for the England national team squad. He's received a ton of backlash. Welcome to my YouTube channel. Robert Kesakos is my name. Yes, in the course of this week, England manager Gareth Southgate read out his summoned squad for England's national engagements against Belgium and Brazil in preparation for the Euro 2024 that will come later in the summer. That's in June to July in Germany. Following that revelation, there's been quite a backlash from reputable figures and otherwise on Arsenal defender Benjamin White. And I think they are being a little too harsh on the player, given the context of things. So let's wind things a little back. This dates to as far back as December 2022, during the Qatar World Cup, when Ben White was forced to leave, or he requested to leave the camp before the end of the FIFA World Cup for what was regarded as personal reasons. But when he left the England camp, he went on to join his Arsenal teammates in Dubai during that period. Ever since then, he had never been summoned to the England national team. That's a whole year and 2 months. That's for the whole of 2023 and 2024. Never has he been summoned again for duty on this English national team. Now, we can all sit here and speculate why that was the case, but what has come to light in recent times, at least according to the Athletic, is that Ben White had a dressing down in front of his fellow teammates. He was embarrassed by one of Gareth Southgate's lieutenants in Steve Holland. It was a tense moment in what is regarded that Ben White was either taking too long or failing to grasp the tactics of the USA national team and all those things. It was everything regarding football. But the way Steve Holland handled the matter, his verbal artillery against Ben White in front of the rest of the other players must have left a sour taste on either side. Now, of course, nobody can ask Gareth Southgate to condone any disrespect of a player to his, assistants or whatsoever. But what was really the case? Ever since then, regardless of how good Ben White played, he was never summoned to the England national team. And we always urge, because during that whole year, we've seen players that were underperforming but still got the call to the team. Personally, for me, one of those included Manchester United defender Harry Maguire. 2 was Calvin Phillips at Manchester City, who is now currently on loan at West Ham. They were always regulars. Clearly, it's evident, and this is no secret to all the England fans out there. I'm sure they do know it, that Gareth Southgate has favourites in his team. Oftentimes, he's thrown out player form and credibility out the window in favour of some of these players, Harry Maguire being one of them, to be honest. I have nothing against Harry Maguire or any other England player. But if the criteria should be that your high performance is what earns you a place at the national team, then during Gareth Southgate's spell with this English national team, we've also learned that you can be a coach favourite. Of how Gareth Southgate sees you as an individual, how he relates with you, could earn you a seat. Present day, Jordan Henderson is in this England team ahead of some of top players that have had better seasons as far as football is concerned. Ruben Loftus-Cheek with AC Milan, I think he has 5 Serie A goals and 4 European goals plus 2 assists. He's had a wonderful season so far. Zero mention of him. James Ward-Prowse did leave Southampton in the summer to join West Ham, and he's been incredible there. And where is he? Not even a mention of his name, not even a sniff to this team. Another player that you could highlight in this particular case is Ross Barkley. yes, Luton Town may be underperforming in the Premier League, but he's been quite good individually. He's been quite good. But then Jordan Henderson went to Saudi Arabia, was playing good football, against, regardless of what you think about the opponents. But then, to better his chances of staying in this team, is why he made the switch to Ajax in January. He has been good with Ajax, but I do think his performances have not warranted his summon to the national team ahead of some of these players. So, when Gary Southgate read out his squad, that included the likes of Sam Johnstone, Jordan Pickford, Aaron Ramsdale, that's for the goalkeepers, Gerard Braithwaite, Harry Maguire, Lewis Dunk, Ben Chilwell, Eriza Konsa, John Stones, Kyle Walker for the defenders, Jude Bellingham, Declan Rice, James Maddison, Jordan Henderson, and Conor Gallagher for the midfield, as well as Gerard Bowen, Marcus Rashford, Harry Kane, Bukayo Saka, Cole Palmer, Anthony Gordon, Ivan Toney, and Ollie Watkins for the forwards. It was during that press conference that he revealed that he had received a phone call from Arsenal technical director Edu Gaspar Dawood that Ben White did not want to be considered for the England national team at this moment in time. Let's get things straight here. Ben White didn't say he's retired from international football. He didn't say he doesn't want to play for England anymore. He just said, at the moment, he does not want to be considered. Why? Does this have to do with the fact that when he gets summoned, he doesn't play? Or is it a personal matter between him and either Southgate or some of Southgate's work colleagues? Again, that is all a matter of speculation, at least at this stage in time. So that means he is saying no to Southgate and his staff, not to his country as per se. In any case, if he did want to retire from international football, he would have just put out a statement to say, I won't be playing international football anymore, and he's gone. So, he's received a lot of backlash in the wake of those revelations from the likes of former Tottenham manager Harry Redknapp and the likes of Rory Jennings during his stint with Talksport, and then and a whole host of other, former England nationals and pundits and all those things. He's received a lot of stick. Never mind the verbal artillery or the backlash on social media. But again, he's a player that even when he was on form, in the whole of 2023, he was ignored. Suddenly, Gary Southgate wants the world to think that he was going to summon him this time, but then he got that phone call. I mean, I wouldn't want to believe that was the case. I'd want to think that regardless, he was still not going to be summoned. Of course, he justified this by saying that he took him to the Euros, that was the Euro 2020, which was played in 2021, and then to the World Cup. Well justified, Chief. But he didn't play. He didn't play. And then he came back, had a wonderful year in 2023. He still didn't get the call. So what makes us think or believe that this time around you are considering him? I wouldn't take his word for it, as diplomatic as Southgate is. And then the other thing, as far as player protection goes, the world didn't need to know this. He didn't need to come out and say, oh, I received a call from Edu and all those things. Neither did he have to lie about it. Because for all the times he has not summoned him, he simply said the other players were better, in his opinion. And it could be the same view. Whether you disagree with him based on your analysis or based on your personal view, at the end of the day, he's still the England boss. He can simply say, to me, other players were better. He didn't need to tell the world that, Ben White has said we shouldn't consider him. He would have just read out his squad. Journalists ask their questions. How come Ben White is not in the squad? If they were to even ask the question. And then he goes on to say, yeah, he's a very good player. I do like the player. I do appreciate the player. He's been wonderful, but I didn't think these players have been better. But let's be honest, as far as this season is concerned, Ben White has been a better player than the likes of Harry Maguire. Never mind that he's being played at right back, even though his preferred position is in central defense. So, if you have a good player that you call to the squad and then he never plays, and then there's a reported altercation between him and your assistant manager, and then he has to leave camp in the middle of the tournament, and then you choose to keep that to yourself for all the good intentions, then why now? Because for those that are asking or calling out Ben White to issue a statement to give his justification and whatsoever, I think they're wrong. If anything could be the worst decision to make, would be Ben White putting out a statement at this stage. Why? First of all, whatever his reason will be, even if he were to say, oh, my cat died, so that's why I asked not to be summoned, the same pundits, the same journalists will forget that 2 years ago they were scolding and, writing every other day about Cat Zuma for kicking his cat. They'll forget that now a cat matters. They will be trying as much as they can, use all the incredible jargons there to invalidate his reason whatsoever. So, and then it would also make him the center of attention or the news instead of the England national team that should be the news. So, it is right for Ben White not to put out a statement. Absolutely right. Absolutely right. For those that follow the English media, you very well know how quick they can spin things, even when you're well-intentioned. So even if he puts out a statement to say, oh, I didn't find myself in a good place mentally, or I have a family issue, not all of them, but most of them will be quick to invalidate that. Or how do you abandon your team? How do you abandon your country for, petty reasons and whatsoever? That's the English media for you. So they are being too harsh to say he has shown a back to his country, even when we all do not know his reasons. First of all, it is a personal decision, and I think the likes of Paul Mason, even though they do not agree with his decision, do think it is right to make that decision. Yes, they do not agree with the decision. They think he should be playing. But there is no guarantee that he was going to be playing. There is no even guarantee that he had been on the preliminary list. Let an insider come out and say Ben White was on the preliminary list before we received that phone call from Edo. And then others are wondering, why was it not Ben White to make the phone call himself? Again, he had his reasons why he had to walk either to his manager or to the technical director and say, I wouldn't want to be considered for the England national team. Help me pass the message. I mean, he was as diplomatic as they come. For now, I think England fans are being too harsh on Ben White for his refusal to be summoned for the England national team. He's not retired from national team football. No, I think he said no to Gareth Southgate. And Gareth Southgate, in his diplomatic tendency, he could have handled this a whole lot better than he did. I do not think Ben White deserves the stick that he is getting or that he will get in the subsequent months for that decision. It's a personal decision, and for the better part of it, it will all be speculation for why he has refused. I do not think he should put out a statement. Otherwise, we all know Gareth Southgate has favourites in that team, regardless. If you look at Marcus Rashford, would you be surprised if he gets a nod in the starting lineup ahead of the likes of Gerard Bowen? Gerard Bowen has been a much better player as compared to Marcus Rashford this season. But do you think Gerard Bowen would start ahead of Marcus Rashford? Well, I guess time will tell, but I certainly do not think so. Because when it comes to individuals, I do think Gareth Southgate on any day would prefer Marcus Rashford over Gerard Bowen. But perhaps that's a conversation for another day. Anyway, that's my view. I do think Ben White should be left alone. It is what it is. Move on. Go play the 2 international friendlies, prepare for the Euros 2024, and we wish you the best of luck. Otherwise, thank you for watching. Robert Kesak was my name. Do not forget to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you next time. Stay blessed.